One thing that I've never really had much success with is trying to match the sun. It's never quite felt right to me. Knowing that we were in Arrakis, we had a bit of a hunch that if we joined enough vortexes together, we were able to kind of create something that was equivalent to a soft sun, or even more powerful than a soft sun. We put 64 Vortex 8s together, which we called the Vortex 512, because it had 512 pixels. I used the cream source LNX system, created a monster of a light, which was game-changing for us.
My name is Eric Koritz. I'm a cinematographer. I'm most known for Ozark, Special Ops Lioness, and soon-to-be upcoming show Ransom Canyon on Netflix. That's that. As a cinematographer, to me, light is everything. Sculpting light to me is how I tell a story. Profoto as a brand is known for their quality of light. To me, it's exciting to be able to bring that into the cinema world. Using the L1600D on set makes my job easier and faster. Without a ballast, you can rig it in ways that other lights can't be rigged. What delicate work. It's much more versatile than a 1.8K HMI. It's small, you can plug it into a wall, and it's more powerful and more energy efficient. They have over 50 modifiers, but there's also a Bowens mount, so you can do an infinite amount of third-party modifiers. I feel like this light will change the way we work. What I love most about the L1600D is the power of the light, the quality of the light, which is beautiful. And then when you couple that with their cinema ecosystem of modifiers that you can make it an incredibly versatile light, it really brings out the best in an LED light.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Bellamy, and I'm from AJA Video Systems, and I'm Technical Director in Europe. Today we're going to talk a bit about our ColorBox, which is a product designed to help with many challenges of modern workflows on set. So we'll start basically by having a little look at a couple of optical illusions which make a really good point that our eyes are easily fooled. So in order to make the right decisions on set, it's going to be important that we have the right equipment to help us make those decisions. This one is a classic. If you look at A and B, they look like completely different colors, of course, tonally. But if we reveal, they are exactly the same. So they've got the same RGB code values, both those squares. So again, a really easy way of proving the point that our eyes can be easily fooled. So let's take a look at some of the modern challenges that we've got with our color workflow. So what are we trying to accomplish, basically? Well, first things first, we have to capture our video correctly. Maybe on set, we have to assist with look management. We're going to have to distribute our video to others. We have to maintain creative intent from on-set to post. And above and beyond all of that, we have to be efficient as well. So there's only so much time we've got to achieve what we wish to accomplish. So the challenges. You could have sources with different native color science. That could be very easily happening on set. You have the considerations of different deliverables as well. It could be SDR, it could be hybrid log gamma, PQ. We've got different sizes of frame size. We've got television, digital cinema, mobile. All of these have different disciplines. Perhaps we have to generate and modify a look on set as well. And we also have to communicate these color decisions with others too. So maintaining a good line of communication between production and post. And of course, maintaining fidelity is also very, very important. And time, once again, efficiency, time, these are going to be coming up again and again for us while we're on set. Range and gamut. So dynamic range and color gamuts could all be different too. We've got universal, we've got ACEs. Camera log, I'm sure you've all been and had a look at some of the amazing camera technology at this show, and everybody's got a different standard. So there's lots of different ways to achieve the same thing, be it Sony S-Log3, Panasonic V-Log, Canon Log3, and so on. These are all considerations that we should have on our modern set. And then how do we display these particular formats as well? Is it going to be SDR? Is it hybrid log gamma? Is it PQ? Could be any one of these things that we have to be agile enough to work within those environments. Conversion. How do we convert between gamuts, ranges, and spaces? Firstly, we've got 3D LUT, so a 33-point tetrahedral interpolation. That can also include lots of creative decisions as well. We've got 1D LUTs, which are 12-bit. These are for high precision needs on set. It utilizes more code values than a 3D LUT, so there's more efficiency in that too. And of course, 3x3 matrices as well. These are all of the main color transformation conversions that we may come up against on set as well. Sometimes the combination of all of these can achieve the actual highest quality and most precise conversion on set. So there's different ways to do this, but we may have to work in an environment where all three of these disciplines have to be used. So look management is also going to be very important on set. What is a look and how do I modify it? So a creative LUT is designed to match the story to the technology. So you create your own. Maybe it's happening for an episodic, so there's a particular look for a show already, and the post-production can provide you a look to use on set. How do we then utilize that? But having got this look on set, do we then need to make more modifications? Is that going to be a consideration too? So we need to also have tools like Live Grade or Live Looks, which can help us achieve that on set. If somebody wants to make a quick creative decision, again, being agile enough to be able to do that on set is really, really important. Creating and communicating is really important. So we're going to be able to provide on-set dailies to post and know that they're going to get exactly what they're expecting to get within those rushes. Fidelity and creative intent. So what is fidelity and how do I maintain it? Obviously, capturing at the highest possible quality that we can is most important, be that raw or log. Capturing the highest resolution possible is also very important too, be that UHD, 4K, in some circumstances maybe even 8K. Can we capture the highest bit depth possible as well? So 12-bit RGB 444 is really going to give us the best run at post-production. If you're working with anybody using visual effects, this is going to be really high on their list of things that you need to achieve on set. Can we capture and share high-quality reference images as well? Again, using the VFX world as a template for that, we need to be able to share high-quality images that really respond to the needs of the visual effects team too. Often that will be 16-bit TIFF images providing the highest quality. On-set monitoring and look management also requires a calibrated monitor. And you'll also require a high-quality look-based processor too to achieve that result on your calibrated monitor. But we don't want to bake in anything that we're doing on set. We just simply want to be able to see how it should look on set without actually changing anything. Our rushes should all be untouched, but at that highest quality possible. So that will always ensure that both archive and post have the best quality materials to work from. So what is a color managed workflow? So this is an understanding of the color spaces, the conversion techniques which are needed to ensure that the color is represented accurately and consistently from glass to glass, camera to final color grade, no matter what your input or output is. The benefits of this is that we can share accurate images on set with great lighting, makeup, camera set design, virtual set design, executives. Everybody can see exactly what they're supposed to, and it's easily controlled from a single point. You also need to share accurate images offset. Again, as we talked about before, VFX pipelines, editorial, everybody needs to know exactly what you're working with. So lots of challenges. But what if there was one tool that could really, really help you? Can it help you set up faster? Can it convert dynamic range and gamuts with high precision? Does it support look management? Can it calibrate displays? Can it produce high quality images? Easily share decisions and reduce errors during production? And we like to think yes is the answer to all of these questions. We spent many years developing the ColorBox. So ColorBox is going to provide you inline HDR and SDR algorithmic and look color transformations on set. It's a very simple device. 12G SDI I/O supports up to 4K 60p. So for most people's concerns, that's going to be plenty. It supports 12-bit RGB 444 up to 4K 30 frames per second. And it also has a HDMI 2.0 output as well, so you don't necessarily have to use SDI with this particular device. It's easily powered on set. So this is an example of one workflow that you could use with ColorBox. So in this particular scenario here, we've got a 12G 4K camera that's coming directly into the ColorBox A, and that's providing a HDR output. So the ColorBox in this circumstance is providing a transformation from the 4K content into HDR, so we can monitor it correctly on set. A secondary ColorBox also then provides you with the option of seeing SDR2 simultaneously. So we're able to work once, but see both considerations on set and make any adjustments or changes that we need to dynamically in real time. So color processing, AJA have a color pipeline, and that's the first way of working with ColorBox. So this is 12-bit RGB video processing, so you're working at the highest possible quality all the way through, from the input to the device to the output. We have a 33-point 3D LUT processor as well, 4 1D LUT processors, and then 2 3x3 matrices. So these are all controllable by third party as well. So if you're using LiveGrade or any equivalent software, those will work with this particular device as well. So overlay, you're able to see exactly what you're working with. In this particular circumstance, we're showing the 3 windows here. So we have the first window, which is showing a user overlay. So if you need safe area, maybe you're shooting 16:9, but the project is going to go to like a full scope image, you're able to put the frame lines in the color box. So again, taking away the need to do that further downstream, you can do that straight in the box and everybody can see exactly what they're supposed to. In the circumstances, you may need to have a logo or a watermark. That's also something you can do as well. But you can also create your own user text and config too. So you're able to bring in the name of the shoot, the name of the director, anything that really is needed to add as metadata, we can do that as well, and you can see that on screen. Frame store, as we talked about earlier on, there's definitely a need these days to probably share high quality images. We can do that within the ColorBox itself. So you can store frames, capture them, and recall them with ease. So if you're checking a VFX plate or something similar like that, it's very easy to do so using the ColorBox. You can capture with or without the overlay as well. We have a dual output, so we can then take a loop through, which will just be a clean feed, or we can have an output with this overlaid on the top. Ultra low latency, this is one of the most important things. So in terms of what we're doing, we don't want to be slowing down the set. If we're making an adjustment, we're showing something different in the output, it should be instantaneous. And the ColorBox is a half a line of delay, which is negligible. You won't really be able to experience any difference between real time and this half a line. So if you're working in live production, that's even more important. So you're able to use this device and achieve low latency at all points. So we recently had an update for ColorBox. This was V3. This came out last year. And V3 basically allows you to go from SDR to Dolby Vision as a preview. So again, Dolby Vision, if this is something that you're being asked for, you need to be able to check on set that the Dolby Vision is accurate and to the needs of the shoot. You can do so with this device. It doesn't mean you have to use more expensive equipment or a complicated chain of equipment. You can simply do it within the same device that you've been doing the rest of your color-based tasks as well. So integrated color processing, we have a number of different ways to achieve, essentially, with the same result. In each of these circumstances, you're going to be changing the look in line to then monitor it on set. So we have our own color pipeline, which we mentioned earlier on. MBCU LUTs are certainly something which, if you're shooting for stateside delivery, those can be a consideration, and those are in the box. You just pick the LUT that you need to use. ACEs, of course, being very important for higher-end productions. We apply ACEs corrections to be completely compliant with their workflow, and probably more accurately for local use here, BBC hybrid log gamma LUTs. So these are all supported within the device itself. There's a breakdown of each one, and you can use a bank of presets to decide which one is accurate for you and switch quickly and with ease on set to suit the director or the producer or whoever needs to see that image the way that it should be. ColorFront. ColorFront is an option for the device. Now, ColorFront is somebody that, as a partner for AJA, we've worked with for many, many years. They are really some of the founders of modern color science in terms of video workflows, and we've been really proud to be a partner of them for many years now. So we offer the colorfront versions as well of the same conversion in the box. An Orion Convert is one perhaps you won't see quite as much, but it has become more and more popular, and we do work fully with the Orion Convert system. These are all options though, so if you don't need those particular things, you can just work with the box as is and add those on at a later date if necessary. So as I mentioned before, we have the update that included SDR to Dolby Vision for this ColorBox. This was version 3. You're able to output .clf and CTF files, and you can also configure the ACES pipeline with this device as well. And you can configure the bit depth. So you can choose 8, 10, or 12 bit for your outputs, and also adjust the color space as needed too. Obviously, different kinds of devices are available on set. You've seen the ColorBox as a single standalone unit, but we also released recently in the last year ColorBox Open Gear. So Open Gear is a standard used by the industry to make a device into a card-based format. They're slotted into the device you can see there, which is the Open Gear frame, and then everything is controlled from a unified dashboard. So a really easy way if you're dealing with multiple needs on set and you need maybe 8 channels or something like that, this is a way of achieving that really easily. So OG ColorBox is exactly the same thing as the other ColorBox that I mentioned, that we've seen. So it's just a slightly different form factor. The ease of being able to deploy multiple devices in a single rack can really make multi-camera shoots really easy to configure and control. And everything is the same as the normal one. You've pretty much got the same feature set within there. The same I/O on the back plane, so HDMI, 12G SDI, and then Ethernet, which is for the control. So the whole device is controlled via the Ethernet, so you don't need to have dedicated software. You're never in a stuck situation on set where you need to suddenly download a new version of the software or update the software. That's not the case. The device is a web server, so it will serve up all of its control to a simple IP address in a browser on any piece of equipment. So a laptop on set is the easiest way to operate this gear. I was talking to somebody earlier on who came to the booth to look at ColorBox, and the main consideration they had was being able to down convert. So we don't all work in 4K, and sometimes we're working in 4K, but we may have HD monitoring or 2K monitoring. And the ColorBox, whichever form factor you went for, will provide real-time down conversion. And you can split the difference as well. You could have 4K output from the 12G SDI and a down convert out the HDMI. You can change those as you see fit to suit the technology that you have on set. So you're not caught out with just a 4K only pipeline. You can work in 4K, but monitor in HD, which can be really, really useful depending on the shoot. You can also do a crop. So the 4K, 2K crop can also take place as well. As I mentioned before, it's served from any simple web browser. Just type in the IP address of the device, and then you're able to connect directly to it and then make all the decisions that you need to make really easily on a laptop. As I say, there's no software to install. You don't have to worry about updates. The device simply does the task for you. And easy control. If you're working with third-party controllers, for us it's ScarHoy or CyanView, the ColorBox works directly with these. So if it's connected via Ethernet, you're able to use the ColorBox controls, except you're using the dials on the ScarHoy or the CyanView. So really easy way of implementing controllers you may be familiar with a new technology on set. Channel-based presets. You could have a number of different scenarios on set that you might be dealing with. In this way, we can store up to 10 pipeline presets per mode. So multiple versions of different ways of working, different ways of monitoring, all easily imported and exported from the ColorBox. So if you've been working on one set in one particular way, you can export everything that you've been using, take it to the next set, and continue without having to reconfigure. So very, very easy way of making sure you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing on set. Ancillary data management, also very, very important. So HDR signal in metadata is really important to you. That's going to be passed through without any change, and it will also be passed through to third-party software as well. You can also overlay the ANC data on the screen as well, which is a really quick way of being able to visually check all of the different things you've been asked to do. What particular format am I in? What HDR am I working in? What is the resolution that I'm working in? All of these things that you see on screen as a quick overlay that you can then toggle on and off. VPID, camera, timecode, closed captions, and pipeline configs, these are all user text fields as well. So you're able to make your own adjustments, add text fields which are useful to you, but also use the things from the camera which you want to see as well. So a really easy way of centralizing all that information. A really simple thing, but an incredibly useful thing, is it's also a test pattern generator. So in certain scenarios, this might be very useful to make sure that everything is calibrated correctly. So you can make sure your dynamic range is set. You know exactly what you're doing by using these particular test patterns, which are all based on popular standardized test patterns that we're all familiar with. So this is an example of the open gear frame. You can get 10 channels, basically. So on a multi-camera shoot, a good example is we work with a company in Barcelona that do specific European television show where they are producing high-end productions for choirs and orchestras, often together in really beautiful buildings in and around Spain. And they use 8 color boxes for their entire workflow. So they are managing that by using the open gear frame. It makes it super simple to deploy all of that color conversion and change all in a single box. A small thing, but HDMI retention as well. HDMI is equally cursed and blessed. It does not have a retainer normally, but at least with this particular version of ColorBox, you do have a way of securing your HDMI cable so it doesn't get easily pulled out on set if that's what you're using to monitor. This is an example of a live production workflow. So at the top of the image here, you can see we've got a variety of different inputs coming in. We've got a specialty camera, in this case it's a PTZ, which is producing SDR. We have a broadcast camera, which is producing SDR. We have a cinema camera, which is producing log. And then we have the record, edit, or replay system as well, which is also producing SDR. Underneath, we have a number of OG color boxes in the rack frame, so 4 in this particular instance. They're all controlled remotely by using the Ethernet switch, and then we have a shader box as well, which is able to speak to each of these devices in turn and make sure that all of these cameras are outputting exactly the same through the video switcher. So we're going to hybrid log gamma all the way through here. We can also then output to more color box and go straight to transmission as well. So a really easy way of working on set to ensure that all of our inputs, which could be very varied, are all exactly the same. So there are a few differences between each one. The color box itself includes NBCU LUTs, the ACEs, and ColorFront. The OG, slightly less than that. The ColorFront's not included in that particular version. But everything else pretty much remains the same. Both will give you all of the features that we've mentioned before: down conversion and crop, overlays, frame stores, test patterns, share settings between other devices as well, and easily connect post-production with production, saving us money and time as we go. And this just forms just one part of AJA's range of products which respond to the needs of HDR and color conversion in the real world. So we've had a good experience over the last few years working with our partners at ColorFront, and then we've been able to take that technology and put it into more of our devices as well. And what I would urge anyone who's interested in any of this technology to do is to come and talk to us at the booth. We're here this year with Digibox. They're our distributor in the UK, and they've put together a really neat setup on the booth, which is a DIT cart involving ColorBox, involving the Bridge Live, and a number of other devices that we produced that you can see in this image. And you can see them all working. So this is a real-world way of showing you exactly how quickly we can respond to needs, how easy it is to use ColorBox as well, because that doesn't really come across in the prezo. But anybody who's got any basic understanding of the color science, the basics of it, you'll be able to operate this device with ease. We give you lots of ways to work, lots of ways, as I said before, to produce presets, which make it really, really easy. Analysis, delivery, recording, monitoring, desktop I/O, we are connected all the way through with HDR. It's a big concern for us to make sure that our customers are able to use HDR accurately and easily, no matter which of our devices that they choose. After this, if you've got any questions or you want to talk more about it or get a demo, as I say, we're in the smaller hall. Digibox's F22 is the booth. We can show you the actual ColorBox science there. You can have a go with it. You can use the controls and get a better understanding of it. And I'm happy to field more questions there. All the usual places you can find for us for news and things like that. And of course, if you want to find out any more, you can go to aja.com. But if you want to get a demo and you're based here, people to talk to a Digibox. So please come over to the booth. They're able to arrange for you to have a demo and to see the device in situ. I think I probably went through that quite quickly. But that's all. Thank you so much.